Okay, we have totally heat set our crease coloring now. So what we're going to do next is we are going to add some blushing to our doll. And again, I'm going to use I'm going to use the natural blush in 2 parts. Two parts of natural blush with 1 part of our bruised purple. And again, we don't need a lot because it's only a small little face. So if you mix this up for a bigger doll, well, you're also going to mix in small parts because you don't want to waste too much silicone, except if you can work really fast with it. Okay, so I've got 2 parts of that of the natural blush, and now I'm going to take 1 part of the purple. So obviously we've got 3 parts there, so we need to add 3 parts of number A. So I'm adding 1, 2, 3. And I'm mixing this up. Again, we're going to add our naphtha to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to start off with. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to take one of my sponges and I'm just going to tear it so that it's not so perfectly square. I almost want it kind of round, or you can cut it round if you want to. And I'm going to dunk it into the silicone. Make sure you don't have too much by dabbing on your paper, and then you can start adding some blushing to your baby. I have used the coarser sponge. As I've said, you get 2 types of sponges. You get the dense one, and then you get the softer one. So this is the one I'll be using for the blushing. I'm adding a little bit to the chin, adding a bit to this cheek. I'm going to add a little bit to the nose. And then I'm going to add a bit to the forehead. So if I feel that's too much, I'm just going to take another sponge. And I'm just going to thin out these ones that's a little bit too much. Obviously you have to do this as soon as you see you've got too much, so that it doesn't dry. Okay, so once that's done, You can go ahead and once again heat set this as well with your hairdryer, or leave it to cure naturally, and you can decide if you want the lips a little bit darker. I'm kind of happy with that color just as it is, but you can add some of that same color we've just mixed up for the blushing. You can add some of that to your lip if you want to, just to give it a little bit more definition. I'll add a little bit just to show you. So now be careful to touch your other part. You can probably do the lips first if you want to, and then add your blushing afterwards, just so that you don't touch it. I'm not adding this all over. I'm literally just doing it on the inside of the mouth, so it makes it a darker coat of paint, so it gives us a little bit more depth on the inside. Again, taking my naphtha sponge, which, as I said, you can use a Q-tip for this method, and just clean out that area that you went over your line. Okay, so now that's done. I'm again rinsing out my brush. You can see I'm just taking the acetone and taking my nail and cleaning out all the silicone out of my brush. Now I would like to add as well, don't go and buy a bunch of expensive brushes for the silicone painting, because they do not last. So it's better to rather buy the cheaper versions, and then, because you're going to have to replace them very soon after. Okay, so this little face is now done for the blushing. So we almost finished. The only thing we're still going to add is a warm coat at the end. You can obviously, if you want to, you can add a layer. What I would take is the nail bed, which is a very similar color to your flesh. You can see that it's very similar to the flesh that we use in reborning, and you could even add a coat over that to bring all your colors together. But do take in consideration, as I said before, that your finishing powder will make your baby lighter than what you've actually painted it at, so you have to go a tad darker when you do your painting. So I'm going to leave this now to dry, and then we will come back and do our final layer.